Hey, Aaron,
Howdy.
I hear you.
I'm here.
Oh, you sound very excited.
No, it just took me forever to load. My computer decided to quit halfway through, so
Oh, okay.
it's being tedious.
And hello,
Oh,
welcome.
yeah. I had to remember how this worked.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Don't worry.
You guys are sounding awesome.
All right. Well, that's good news.
hmm So, yeah, I recorded that really long interview, and I was like, "Sweet, closing out." And like, "Oh no, I need to download the file." And it was like, "Oh no, you don't get that." I was like, "No."
It was nice of them to tell you that after.
Afterwards,
Done.
yes,
That was handy.
There was no like. Honestly, I don't know what I would have done if at 40
yeah.
minutes they were like, "Peace out, JK." I don't know. Like, so
True.
I'm glad they let me finish it, but then it was kind of a that I need to do something about this then. So yeah. So we'll just use this because this works. So
All right.
anyway, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. I have professional development things tomorrow. So we have a day off tomorrow and Monday. But tomorrow's not really a day off. It's just the day without children. So professional development-y things. Can't really look at the agenda very much yet. I don't really know what's happening. All it said was for the morning was bring pencil. I was like, that's pretty vague. I don't really know if I like that particular instruction.
Bring pencil.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I don't know why. I don't like that direction. It's a little.
No. It's like, I don't know. Mechanical, wooden. You should bring a pen and just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand."
I probably will bring a pen because I have all of the above just laying on my desk randomly.
Well, yeah, just grab what you can. I don't understand that at all.
But like again, the only instruction was to bring writing implement, and so I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm assuming we're not doing like some sort of weird pencil related activity. I imagine I have to write something. So like,
you don't know that.
I mean, I don't, but I really want to bring a pencil. Wood pencils in meetings are problematic because you get down there and you start writing, and all of a sudden you have a dull pencil, and you're like, well, crap.
Yeah.
Now I can't write anymore. And then it's a whole thing. And our meetings in like cafeteria. Definitely no pencil sharpeners in the cafeteria. So yeah, pen probably. That's what.
Okay. Pen, go for that.
So all I know is, mystery morning. And then I'm supposed to be doing something with my educator growth plan. Yay.
Educator growth for what?
Educator growth plan.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the fun thing where I have to do all the weirdness and write things about me, I guess. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I have to redo one because it's like, well, if you've had the same one for the last couple of years, you got to write a new one. Like, yeah, but I'm still working on the other one. So
I'm not done yet.
Yeah. I don't know. So it means I have to redo my whole thing. It's basically the like, what are you going to work on as a teacher? Like, how are you going to improve your stuff? Right.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing mine about implementing and doing the student data folders that we have, right? Like how to keep on track of those and stuff. But because I moved grades last year.
Yeah.
I'm really not on top of that anymore. Like I was doing pretty good in 5th grade one. And now it's like, oh, you have to start your student data folders all over again.
Oh, jeez.
So, Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll ask her. Hey, but she'll be like,
Quick
"No."
question.
Quick question. I know you said we had to, but like,
check this out. What if I
what if I didn't though?
What if I didn't
Because
though? Yeah.
I'm redoing. I had to start everything from scratch. Everything. So like, any progress I had made into my doing that was like erased. So I've been like making them as we go. I was redoing one today because I was like, I don't like this one. It's weird. I gotta fix it. It's not right. So it's like I do this thing where we have the standard that we're working on. Not just but like the main few that I pick for that unit.
Mhm.
The educational standard that Missouri says this, teach that. I'm like, okay,
must
gotcha.
do that.
Yeah. So for every unit, I pick a few that are going to be like the main ones that we focus on. We do other ones like randomly. They're in there. We talk about stuff that, but our unit focuses like these 3 to 4 big ones.
Mhm.
And we do like a data sheet about it. So we break it down into like, when I say no we anymore. Dang it.
So sorry.
Break it down into we take that thing that the state of Missouri tells you. It's like this big incomprehensible sentence that doesn't really make sense. And we sort of break it down into student friendly language in the form of like, I can blank, right? So that they can see, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Sort of interpret that. And then they kind of go about and monitor, oh yeah, I can't do this. Or, oh yeah, I'm pretty good at that. And we check every once in a while and they have to do a little proof thing and stuff like that. So that's why I've been working on that, but I had to start all over with nothing. So I'm a little behind on on that particular aspect.
So is that all due tomorrow, or is
no?
Oh,
that's
okay.
just the thing that my educator plan from last year
I see
was to be working on that. Right.
Okay.
And so I just kept it. For this year, I was like, yeah, I just want to keep doing this because now I have to start over again. So just as we go, I'm like adding to it, fixing it, like creating every unit. I had to create a new one now from scratch because they don't exist. Next year, I'll just be able to this one.
Ta-da!
Yeah, but now we're yanking them from nowhere and kind of creating these as we go. So, and then that's what when we do quizzes and stuff, it's over that stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of a 2-pronged attack. It's one, it kind of helps the kids know what they're doing, kind of understand why we're talking about all this stuff. And 2, it keeps me on track to make sure that all the stuff we're doing is related to this. Yeah, so that we don't go off on wild tangents and oh wait, no, stop.
Right. You're telling them what the expectations are, and then you're tracking the expectations, and then looking back and seeing if you met them.
Yeah, pretty much. But again, those didn't exist. So I had to make them all. So that's the stressful part. Oh yeah, I got to make another one.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, at least you've already done one though. So,
well, yeah, right? I mean, I have all the units that we've done so far. I have one for.
Okay.
So all the big ones. So basically, what I do is it's in a big template sheet. I just make a copy of that in a doc and then erase everything and fill it out for the next one. Right. So the template's the same all the time, but I have to change stuff around.
Sure.
And sometimes I reuse the same standards because the standards are very vague, right? For especially the history ones, it's talk about contributions ancient societies made. That's kind of it. That's what it says basically.
Oh.
And so you can just you can do that one. Like I did that one a couple units ago. When we get to Greek stuff, I'm probably going to bring that one back out. It's kind of a big deal for them, right? So you can recycle some here and there. You have to change the wording on the statement to make it match the actual unit. Because I can't say, you have to change the wording to like, I try to make it specific, like, oh, what contributions does the Greeks make?
Oh.
So, a little editing here and there every once in a while, but mostly creating all from scratch and starting from somewhere. So
not terrible then.
Yeah. It's just a big process and a chore to do it.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm like, no, but I have to grade all this other stuff and do all this planning for what we have to do the next couple weeks. Oh yeah, I have to do that. And now I have to do this other weird paperwork stuff.
Which is what you wanted to spend your time doing.
Yes.
We all know. We all know.
Everyone that's why people become a teacher. It's to do paperwork.
I think finally the truth comes out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You and your paperwork junkies.
Yeah. No, that's not it at all. I may have a lot of papers on my desk, but that's not. No, that's all. It's not paperwork. It's just random junk. We've been doing this thing. We're still doing Egypt, right? So we're rolling along doing Egypt. So we're kind of getting close to the end, starting to wrap it up. So we're doing a investigation about the death of King Tut. Dun, dun, dun. So it's like one of those things where it's kind of like it's a very investigative. So it's like, it just gives you a whole bunch of facts stuff. And you kind of have to go through and read it, draw conclusions, cite evidence in your reasoning, right? Kind of go through all this. And then next week, we're going to write our final paragraph or two, probably two, and then have a class discussion / share time where everyone can talk about their theories and we can do some arguing and discuss about what we think happened. So
obviously it was the mosquito bite on his ear that was the disease or infected or something.
Obviously. Well, he did have that bone disease, right? That left him susceptible to infection. So if he did contract malaria, that could be it.
Therefore, Your Honor,
doesn't explain his broken legs, but it's fine.
You want him to explain everything, or do you just want the truth? I mean, come on.
Yeah. That's how investigations generally work. You want everything covered in explanation.
So you think?
Oh, so right, man.
Oh. Speaking of investigations, Aaron, how have you been?
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Oh yeah, hefty sounds
amazing.
I don't want to talk about them. They're so exhausting. I am so tired, and let's see. I was out all day yesterday, and then the day before I was out until about like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night with these people, and police. So my last few days are just kind of bleh, and so I took tomorrow off for chilling time.
Well, hey.
And then I also don't have work on Monday, and I was like, oh wow, they gave me an extra day, and they're like, no, it's President's Day. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's why, that's cool. That's what
they should have just told you. Yeah, extra day, fine.
I completely forgot we got the holidays off, and so I was like, oh sweet, they gave me an extra day, and they're like, no, dude, it's a holiday. I was like, oh no, yeah, that's cool.
I totally forgot that yesterday was a holiday, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to go in and blah blah, and then
it was.
Yeah, it was a state holiday. It was like Lincoln's birthday or something, or President's Day or something.
Well, President's Day is
Monday.
No,
I forgot about until earlier this week. And they're like, yeah, we don't school Monday either. And I was like, what? Why? But it's not because it's President's Day. It's because it's just a break. They built it around there. But like, I was like, oh,
let me see here. No, it was Lincoln's birthday yesterday. And then
a Missouri holiday.
Yes, it is.
Lincoln was not from Missouri. I mean,
okay.
we should have.
Okay. No,
we should celebrate Truman's birthday.
We do. May 8th.
Do we really?
Yeah, May 8th.
I didn't know
that. The only reason I know this is because I get those dates off.
You for real get Truman's birthday off?
Yeah, for like
no one else in the world gets Harry S. Truman's birthday off.
Yeah, no, there are. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, no, I get New Year's, Martin Luther King Jr., Lincoln's birthday, Washington's birthday, Truman Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, and Christmas Day.
Wait.
Oh.
You know the reason that we took Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday and combined them to President's Day is that so people could only take one day off of work, right?
Are you
aware that this happened?
Do not tell the Missouri state officials. I don't think they got the memo.
They forgot about President's Day. Only Oklahoma remembers President's Day.
We still, like those who truly bleed red, white, and blue, celebrate them independent of each other.
Wow. Wow. Next you're going to tell me you get James Buchanan's birthday off.
It's on the ballot right now.
No.
Yeah. And that's the fun stuff. Oh my goodness.
Well, if we have nothing else about that, I have a revelation that I would share.
Okay.
Let's see if this goes anywhere. Okay. I have discovered after Aaron and I beat the Jedi Fallen Order thing.
I still haven't played it yet.
By the way. Yes, you should do that. It's pretty good. Except for every once in a while, I was in an area and the floor would like not load. You did that thing where you're like, oh, and now I'm just falling forever. Neato. Other than that, pretty good. But I realized probably something that I had known all along. But I realized why I prefer Star Wars to Star Trek.
I
have realized this.
I'm shutting off comments and feedback forms.
That's just a personal thing. It's a personal taste. It started when I always like the ship design in Star Wars, right? So like any other good Star Wars game, this game gives you have a ship because you have to fly about things. And I enjoy the Star Wars ship design very much. I just like it, right? There's something about it that they feel very like, I don't know. They just feel very like homey almost to a certain extent sometimes. A lot of them feel like very lived in spaces that you could imagine yourself in. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And I think part of that is the fact that most of the design for Star Wars is homely or very getting to that design with our current technology and stuff isn't that big of a leap. At least it looks like, as you mentioned, things were bolted on, or there is this they're more familiar.
Yeah, I mean that's why people like the Millennium Falcon, right? It looks like, it looks like something that is possible just because of the way it's sort of cobbled together here and there. It's got it looks lived in, it looks homey. I also like the droid design, to be honest, because this game also has a little companion droid that follows you around. It's adorable. Okay. BD1 is the cutest thing ever. He's great. Love him. So I was thinking about this. And I was thinking about like why I like Star Wars games. And well, that led me to just Star Wars universe things in general. Okay. And why other things like I've played Mass Effect. I really it's fine, I guess. It's another big like space giant RPG, and a lot of people really like it. But I didn't love it. It was fine. I don't even think I finished the first one. I was just like, meh. well, it's okay. And I realized I was comparing that to Star Trek. I'll get around to this in a minute. I watched a lot of Star Trek. I watched a lot of movies, and like I used to watch the TV shows. And I like what was it, Generations? Whatever Picard was in. I watched that when I was a kid with Geordi and everything. Next Generation, right? Is that right?
Next.
Yeah.
I think next. We'll get hate
But
mail if it's wrong. Don't worry.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, it was fine. It's interesting, but like, I never was like, oh man, I wish I was on the Starship Enterprise, you know. And I realized it's down to the aesthetic of this design choices. And I realized about myself, I really like, it has a name in sci-fi, that dirty space aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's what I like. Is that kind of everything looks like lived in, everything is it looks used. It's kind of like there is backstory to all this stuff. That's why people like went ham over like Boba Fett, right? The man that speaks none.
Mm-hmm.
But like you look at his armor and you go, why does his armor look like complete trash? What is happening? What is this? What is all this stuff? Why does it look completely lived in, right?
Yeah.
People like, it lets your imagination kind of go ham. But it looks, I don't know, there's just something about that aesthetic that I like more. And I think when I think about the sci-fi that I like, and just distilling it down to the Star Wars, Star Trek question, it's Star Wars because of the aesthetic choices and design of all this stuff. I think that's why I like it better.
Just because the world at that point, the universe that it's in is more realistic and relatable, or does it, or is it appealing to some sort of other nature desire of that? Because
well, I don't know, because I can't really speak on, because I'm not very well versed in the Star Trek universe. Other than that, it's kind of like this. It's, I don't know. It seems to be, I think the universe is reflected in the design because it's more of a like, oh, there's this republic thing or whatever, and the reason that they go into space is because they've solved all problems and now they can put all their stuff and go into space, which is weird. And they go off and they do stuff, whereas like Star Wars is like everything's bad all the time, so that's not necessarily pleasing, right? If you're talking about like, man, do you want to live in the Star Wars galaxy? Maybe I don't know.
Depends on.
They've literally been fighting wars forever.
Yeah.
Right? There's always someone is fighting someone else. People trying to blow up planets all the time. There's all this craziness going on. So it's not that's not necessarily appealing, like the universe, but like the normal, like you can't get a grasp on what a normal person does in the Star Trek universe.
Right.
Whereas in the Star Wars universe, there are very clearly like random normal people doing their thing. And you can kind of like relate to that better, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I'll say this, if this is an interest, I don't know. In Star Wars, when you get the design aesthetic that more closely resembles Star Trek, it's the baddies that have that.
I was thinking about that too. It's the Empire.
The Empire has that very clean, very sterile, very not relatable aspect
it's
to
very
it.
Impersonal.
Yes. While the good guys, the rest of the people,
it's really everyone else. It's not necessarily good or bad.
Everybody else has that much more, that dirty space.
Yeah.
Aesthetic. So I definitely am with you on this in preferring the Star Wars design aesthetic over Star Trek. And I think that it is just when I watch Star Trek and them moving about a ship and all the interior spaces, it's very hard to envision myself there in that design. Like you see the chairs that they sit in and I'm like, those don't even look comfortable. And how there's nothing looks utilitarian. It's all after that very clean, very minimalistic, very ultra, fantasy kind of thing, which I have a hard time relating to.
Yeah, I agree. Because like you look at the chairs on, like you said, on the Enterprise versus even in this game, you have this little ship called like the Mantis or something. Like you just are in that ship for a little bit. You're like, I could sit on that couch. I could chill there. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Be all right. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, because you can just sort of, yeah, I agree. You can sort of imagine yourself in these spaces because they just look like people live there as opposed to like sterile, impersonal, empty. This even extends to like weird things like in like a Star Trek ship, if there's a closed door, I almost never think, I wonder what's behind that door.
Mm-hmm.
In Star Wars, there could literally be a cabinet, and I'm like, what's in that?
Right.
For some reason,
can we open
my brain's
that?
like, what's in that cabinet? What's in that little tiny drawer right there? What is that? Why? Because it's all like slammed in there and like barely holding shut. And you're like, what's in there? I want to know what's in that. And you're like, I don't know what it is about my brain that's like picks up on that, but that just seems to be why.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and it's again as just at the relatability aspect, and yes, there's the I'm curious because obviously there's a backstory for that. It's kind of like the same feeling I get when I see a late model square body F-150, or that is driving down the road and it's just beat the tarnations out of it. It's like, how did you get like that? Are you the only owner? It's repaired, it's used, it's dilapidated, all these things are going on, but it still has a purpose, and there's a history to that. I have a hard time looking at a crisp white interiors and very smooth lines, and you've never, I don't think in Star Trek you would ever seen a at least a flagship uh, uh, portion of the fleet be repaired and dilapidated.
Yeah,
right?
no,
It just
really.
seems like as soon as something gets dinged, they're like, well, we have to throw away the whole thing, and here's the brand new one.
Now, again, there could be aspects of Star Trek that this shows up. I'm sure they go on some planet at some point.
Well,
but I'm just not well versed enough in it because it doesn't just grab me and pull me in enough to make me want to watch it. Like 7. And a lot of the episodes of television are just like on the ship doing stuff, which is fine. But like, I don't know. I just doesn't hold me the same way. And I think that's why. I think it's down to design choice. Or at least partially.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, but you see that in in other universes that you're in as well, of fantasy novels and things like that. I'm trying to think of a good example here, and I'm not really pulling a great one out of my hat for comparison. But
well, so I think what Colin's trying to go with that is, everything in Star Wars has a backstory. There is so much deep lore in the Star Wars universe. There's canon. There's there are all the graphic novels. There's
most of it's called legends now. It's not canon.
Legends.
Thanks, Disney.
There's all of the animated TV shows. There's all of those sub stories and plots. And the thing that's kind of like that is Lord of the Rings.
That's true.
Everything has a backstory. Everything is so in depth, and maybe not so much like the language in Star Wars, because there's literally a whole book series written in Elvish, pretty much.
Well, yeah, but
in Lord of the Rings, but like there's so much in depth that can just take you into Star Wars, and I don't really feel that when I watch Star Trek. However, Star Trek Voyager was my favorite, mostly because Captain Janeway was awesome, and the little Doctor Robot dude was really cool. But
yeah,
I
forgot about that.
Yeah, hologram. I can't remember, but it was just. But I never felt like, oh, what's the story behind that person? What's the story behind that person? And you also get that, like, you get that feeling when you watch like anything Star Wars related, from the animated series of the Clone Wars to Star Wars Rebels to the show The Mandalorian, which is awesome. Like, you get that with like, oh, what is that? Ooh, what is this? Oh, well, I'm curious on this, but no, now I'm curious on this. And so you kind of get that look of you're comfortable and there's so much more that's going on than you know. That's like, why is this person here? Why is this person, wearing this thing? Like, that's confusing.
That's
Why
true.
is this doing this?
That's a good point. I think because when you talk about people, it's that design choice and stuff is also extended to the people and like their clothes design stuff too,
Yeah.
right? And just even the design of mostly like clothing, because like
everything that's designed has a purpose
yeah,
in Star Wars, because the Mandalorian talks about like the armor is like every piece of this armor is so significant and has deep value in it than just like, ooh, that's shiny, or oh, this is beat up. Like everything has some sort of purpose to it, and to me that's what grasping. And plus there's a lot more Star Wars games than Star Trek
that's
games.
true. Hashtag the Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
It's cool. But like, yeah, is that the same? So I get what you're talking about. We have this discussion now, knowing about all those Star Wars expanded books, right? I've read a bunch of them, not like a whole bunch, but like I've read several, right? And I know a lot more about the lore and stuff now, like random things, because I have watched some of the TV, the cartoon, and read stuff and other things, right?
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, for you then, what, like, if you cast your mind back to being a youth and watching either random Star Trek episodes on TV or watching the Star Wars VHS tapes in the basement, was there something specific in that context, like not knowing that any of that other stuff existed yet?
So, I think besides watching with you guys, I always really liked Star Wars, but I think it was when, like, and yeah, this might get some flack, because the original three will always be my favorite, but I think it was when like the first, or the prequels came out, of actually going to see them in theaters. That was becoming a whole new experience for a whole new generation.
True.
And like I remember when Attack of the Clones, Return of the Sith, yeah. I remember going to see
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the
That's
Sith.
the third one, right? Yeah. First one was Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace, Clone Wars.
Yeah, and then
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. There we go.
Revenge of the Sith, thank you.
Yeah, we're huge Star Wars fans. I'm kidding.
I know
they're the three that don't exist, if we're just being perfectly honest. But go ahead.
I contend that the Phantom Menace is the best one
of the three. If you're going to acknowledge their existence, Phantom Menace is better than the other two. However, as a whole, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you say, oh yeah, because people say that. They say all the time, Phantom Menace is awful. Like, have you seen? Do you remember the end of that movie?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Because like I personally, I didn't mind those movies. Like I don't.
Well, no, nobody
if
did.
Someone's like,
when they came out.
Yeah, when I was little, I was like, "Whoa, these are so cool."
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, "Oh, Jar Jar is not, culturally appropriate. That's probably frowned upon."
True.
But
he's kind of annoying. But the Duel of the Fates and the Dark Lightsaber battle,
yeah, like there's still like epic moments in that. I think what really solidified me on it was going to see the third one at midnight there at, I think it was like the Springfield 8 there in Springfield, and just being in a line wrapped around the entire theater, and like everyone was dressed up, and they had like some sort of like fighting game in the lobby that people were playing before the movie started. And I just like, whenever the Star Trek movies came out, I was just like, I mean, that doesn't, like, yeah, it's cool, but like that doesn't inspire wow in
there
me.
is a lot less to dress up as in Star Trek. I think. With my knowledge of Star Trek, I'll asterisk that with my knowledge of the Star Trek universe, there is a whole lot less to cosplay. That's true.
Yeah,
I believe that to be true. Maybe false. I think
probably false, but anyway, not the TV shows. If you go from the TV shows, it seems like there's a lot of creatures on there. You could be a tribble. You could be you could be not a tribble. You could be See all those options.
Yeah, I think there was, like, back to what Aaron was talking about with the expanded stuff, though. I do remember kind of a point when, like, because uh, like in middle school, like because we only had the 3 first ones, but then like slowly sort of discovering through your friends and other people you meet, like, oh wait, there's like books and stuff. There's like more stuff because it wasn't like a big giant phenomenon like it is now, right? It was just like it was just sort of out there existing, and some people knew about it. So you
Yeah.
had to sort of discover it like on accident, almost kind of. And they're like, "Oh yeah, no, there you can get this book here," and you're like, "The what?" Right? And I think maybe because the seed had been planted because of all those aesthetics and design choices, and you get drawn in that way. When I found that out, I was like, "No, oh my what?" So I think you slowly start discovering all that other stuff, and it's just so enthralling, right? Like
Right.
when you discover, like, oh, this happened, and then like, oh, this happened, and like, oh, this happened.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably,
Yeah. Well,
why some of that stuff is like it sort of sucks you in because you're like, oh man, there's all this out there that is possible to consume if I want it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a big picture that I'm think I'm picking up on here is that, getting back to that original comparison, Star Trek does look pretty, but that's about all it is aesthetically. Is that it's very visually appeasing. The Star Wars, though, like there's at least a perceived functionality behind it and a history that you don't get with the thing that just kind of
or at least you can
pick up
like
on
project on that, right? You can say,
right.
oh man,
You can project depth onto the dirty space design aesthetic. While that's much harder to do, at least how we're wired with Star Trek. Do you find that? Do you guys? I'm driving with you, I totally get that of when a universe is more quote unquote dirty, like dirty space or dirty fantasy, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like I can project functionality and project depth on that a lot easier than something that just seems very clean and very picturesque. Do you find that similarly in other aspects of your life of it being drawn to more of functionality over just the pure visual aesthetics? Anybody can jump in on that one.
I don't know. I think there are some things in my life that I have labeled as like this thing is functional, and there are other things that I have labeled as, whoa, I like how this looks. This is cool, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know. It seems a bit arbitrary as I think about it, right? Like most clothing items, like pants, I don't really care. But yes, pants, yes, please, that's what I want.
They're required.
Like, I don't really put any thought into the aesthetic design of my pant, right? Just I want some Levi's jeans or some Dockers work khaki pant things that I wear to school. That's it. That's all I want. I don't care. Done. Blah, blah. That's it. Like other stuff, like I don't know, doesn't get that same just like I'm much more interested in it instead of that. Like I don't really know where the delineation is because sometimes it's other clothing items like, oh no, I need like this shirt or like hat. I'm like, ooh, this hat is nice. I don't really care. You don't need a hat, but I want one.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I don't really know. I think it's a little more gray area when it comes to like personal possessions.
Sure.
Well, at least outside of clothing, most everything else in my life is like, yeah, I think that looks cool. Let's have that. Like, it's really not, looking at all this mess around me. Like, yeah, no, it's not. It's definitely not aesthetic. I can tell you that or function. Some of this is not functional. Like, plus, I also am a guitar player, so no guitar player is like, oh yes, I only care about the functionality. No, they're liars if they tell you that.
That's true. That was actually that was actually going to be an example of mine of whenever I was wanted to learn the guitar. I only wanted to play on a pretty guitar, and then
yes, so does everybody else. That's not.
It ended up not falling. It ended up falling through, and everyone knows where that stands today. You have, or at least had, my guitar at last
no,
point.
it's in this room right now.
So
I
there
can
you
see
it. But even then, even in middle school, I was going, if I don't like the way it works, if I don't like the way it looks, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna be interested. I need it to look good so that I'm drawn to using it every day. Obviously, there was a lot that was very shallow, and
no, that's not bad advice for guitar buying. Like, for real. Like, if you don't like how it looks, you're not gonna like be drawn to it and want to try it. Then you might as well just put it in the case, put it in the closet, because
sure.
Whatever.
Except with that one, I genuinely like the way that guitar looks. I just never played it. So
I mean, that's fine. But yeah, I don't really know where that line is personally.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of specific examples, and we just went through a process of buying a car, and like
cars for me are functional at this point, because as we have discussed ad nauseum, like I don't like driving at all, so
yes.
I don't
care. Yes, and as much as I would like to say that, design really played a big role in how we navigated that, because there were several cars that technically probably would have been more functional for our family, but they just looked so bad. Just like, oh, I could not get over it. And I think we found a happy medium between those. And Megan, it was very much a car is a car is a car is a car. What are we doing? And I'm like, yeah, but did you look at it? Because it's
yeah.
So I do see that playing out in some other areas as well. But then, like you said, like jeans, those kind of things, it's like, well, I need these, and they need to have a very specific function. So I think that, just as you said, it just depends on exactly how you're wanting to, just I guess where your interests lie. If it's something that you're really interested in, you're probably going to be more concerned about one or both of those going into it. And then at other times it's like, well, I just need something. It doesn't really matter. So let's just get whatever. It may accidentally look pretty to others or whatever, or maybe more functional for one thing, but you just kind of go with whatever you need to fill a gap, a void at the time.
Yeah, that's probably right. Because I can think about some random stuff in here where it's like, I just got it because it's like, yeah, I need this to work. Right?
Yeah.
Like, or sometimes it's a placeholder, right? Like, I need this, I think. So I'll get this one. And then, like, if it's truly something like, oh, yes, I do need that, then okay, then I'll try to find something that's like, looks a little bit nicer. It's like something you end up using a lot, or you need a little bit more functionality out of it. You need to like upgrade at some point. Then you worry about making it look nice too sometimes. Right? Like chairs or whatever. Sometimes it's just kind of like, oh yeah, well, sometimes it's like, nah, I need this. That's all I need.
Right.
I don't know.
Aaron, do you have any input on design, functionality, aesthetics?
Kind of what you guys are saying. It really honestly depends. I know this is kind of more of a human aspect of it. When I was coaching, I wasn't really looking for anything flashy. As long as you did your job and got the job done, like it didn't have to look pretty by any means. I remember coaching against teams that everything was flashy and bright and gimmicky, but I was like, you gotta have the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid, to where it being simplistic and it doesn't have to be pretty, but it functions, that these kids are actually learning something and that they're not having to be overblown with so much stuff, but I keep it functional, keep it simple, keep it low key, and yeah, it doesn't have to look pretty, but hey, the job gets done. That's really kind of the only thing. Like if someone gave me, oh, here's $50,000, pick out a vehicle. I'm probably more than likely going to pick out a truck more than anything, because like the truck. I also live in Oklahoma, so everything's either a lake or a hole.
Got to blend in.
So yeah, I mean, where I'm at and kind of the job that I do, a car is not going to be practical. Color is very important. Like, the car that I have, we all know that apparently it's gold. I found that out. It said on the little thingy, it's like Ultra Violero gold. It's like, really? This is gold? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. But like, I mean, I wouldn't mind like a blue car,
champagne,
like,
maybe, but
I have to keep it, gray or white. You have to keep it tradition.
True. Yes.
But like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the only reason. Like, something that has 4-wheel drive, and I feel comfortable driving it. Like, I'm not really, if it can hold more than 4 people, cool. But if not, eh. I mean, it's just kind of me. But long term wise, it needs to serve a function. Again, if someone just like gave me a car, I'm like, oh well, okay. I mean, I guess I can have this.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking around my apartment, and I mean, like shoes, I guess. I mean, I gave up on style and fashion a long time ago. If you couldn't tell by any of the pictures of me, I don't necessarily dress to impress unless I have to. And yeah, because I just kind of I didn't really care what people thought. I was like, yeah, but I'm comfy, and I like what I wear because it's comfy, and so and also expensive wise, like I'm not gonna go out and buy like a $80 pair of jeans when I can buy some survival pants for like $15 that will last me for 1,000 years.
That's fair. That's a fair consideration when we're talking about personal possessions. Price does really play a big role on that.
Yeah, and so and thank goodness for Amazon, because if I would just type in something and bought the first thing, I would be in a lot of trouble. But it usually has like oh, check out these other options. Like, oh, I'll check out these other options. Usually find something a little bit better deal as. But no, I mean, I mean, the only thing I can not think of is hats. I'm very picky about hats. As I look at all the hats over my collection right now, it has to be like, it has to fit right. It can't look dorky. Like I have to wear it for either a special occasion, for any occasion. But like that to me is like weirdly important. To like, no, this hat and it doesn't fit. Like, oh, this hat's weird. And like, oh, I gotta try this hat instead. But that's really kind of the only aspect of my life of that I have to have some sort of look is imperative to me. But I mean, pretty much everything else I own has a function. My apartment is not pretty. Like, it has maps everywhere. It's not
maps are pretty.
It's not flashy. Well, then I look behind me, and there's Tamriel right there, and there's Red Dead Redemption map over there, and it's a Game of Thrones map right there. And then I have USA, and then the world map, and so like it even that has some sort of function of whenever I would play video games of like Skyrim, instead of like clicking to the map option every single time, I'd have to look over and be like, now where the heck am I right now? But yeah.
Well, if we're talking about that, Aaron has made me realize I am 100% aesthetic only, because if I look around my room, it's complete random nonsense that serves no purpose whatsoever. And like, I only got it because it looked neat. And so that's...
Well, yeah, because like looking over now, like there's a Doctor Who poster, and right next to it is an American History Timeline poster that's like as tall as I am, that stretches into like the 2000s. I don't have a reason for that, but it looks cool.
Yeah, mine apparently just is aesthetically pleasing things because none of this is functional. Now that I look at it, oh dear, what?
Yeah, I fall in line with you guys on that too. Because I remember when Meg and I got married, uh, she is very much not like that, and that was so bizarre to me. As far as what?
No, she
What?
wants. Yeah, she wants in like a mid-century modern house, like Bauhaus only. Right?
Yes,
that's what
she wants. She wants to live in a white cube, and you
Yeah.
know, and everything is exactly what it needs to do, and nothing more. And I'm like, well, what do we do with all the typewriters? And what about I have a glass spider. What do we do? Can we put that somewhere?
Yes. Duh.
It's in my office right now with behind me. So but so it's still there, but yeah, and so we've had to work through some of that because she sees that stuff and it's clutter, right? It's what in the world is going on. And I see that. I'm like, this makes me happy to visually see. This brings me joy to have around.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But then I think the house we were around, and like Mimi was very much making things look nice and having nice things around and things with memories, and it was not cluttered. It was very organized and very neat, but there were things on tables and in corners, like it was, but that was just part of her design of, oh, I have an abacus that I can put out and there's a history behind it, and I have this wool spindle thing that I can put on this thing, and all the candlesticks, those kind of candlestick holders. True. And then Dad with his aesthetic,
yes,
quasi, like
we can just stop there.
Yeah,
it's fine.
we love you, Dad.
Yeah,
he knows. So I definitely see how we all kind of walked away from that going, okay, this is having this stuff around us is joyful and happy.
Yeah, I could get that because there's no reason for me to have random Legos on my shelf, but I do anyway. So like,
yeah, no, at my office at work, I have, so for Christmas, Dad gets us the little Lego stuff, and I have a couple of those, and I put those out at my office at work. No real reason. They don't do anything. They're just little, they're little. It's a Star Wars little miniature thing. Like that's cool. I like having that around. My coworkers think I'm a little weird, but
it's fine.
Welcome.
It's fine.
Yeah. What I think, this may be, I don't know how this transition would work, but where my brain starts going with this next is we're talking about design around us, and another step for that in my brain is things around you or things in the world that you notice, but maybe nobody else does in your life. And I don't know if I'm describing that well enough, but and I'll go first. I don't think anybody else in my household or even like friends that I associate with really notices like the status of somebody's baseboards.
What? You are your father's son. Holy cow. I was not expecting that to come out of your mouth. I know.
And
that's not where I thought this conversation was going.
And I don't know if that, and that may be it. We'll just cut all this out. Never mind. But like, but I don't know. Are there things like that in your life where you're like, like, I noticed this, and only I care about it, but it's important to me, kind of stuff.
Ooh, probably. It might not be a good on the spot question.
Yeah, we'll save it for next time. We'll save it for next time.
We'll put that on the back burner and hold on to that.
Back burner. But thinking about design and like
everyone in my house knows about it because I probably yell about it really loudly. we should probably ask Susan this question, and then she'll just tell us exactly what my things are.
Yeah, no, yeah. Megan would be like, "Finally, you asked me. Here, let me pull up my list that I've been making.
I've been keeping for years."
Never mind. No. Okay. Anyway, that's fine. It got me curious about that of design and aesthetic and things that we like or don't like, and I don't know. Like mine is like a cleanly kind of thing of like, does anybody else notice that? I don't know, but like other things as well. I don't even know, but I was just thought of that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Might have to come back to that one.
Anyway,
save that one.
Okay.
I'll have to do some thinking.
Put it on my list.
Yeah.
Move it to the top.
There we go.
Anyway.
Top O-listerino.
Oh, but yeah. Other than that, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Aaron, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
There are things that your recording kept bugging in and out, and so I was just kind of like waiting for a question for the longest time, and nothing was spoken, and so
sorry.
And then it would just be like, then you'd start talking again. I was like, I'm sorry. So yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, we're still. It's cold outside. It was not pleasant today at all. Did you guys? Did you guys outside at all?
Not for recess. We weren't.
Oh.
Today, conveniently, we were talking about wind chill in science.
Hey, and you're like, it's negative 13 degrees outside.
Practical application today.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, hey, the wind chill this morning when we did it, I pulled up the National Weather Service little chart thing,
the
wind chill chart.
Yeah.
And we did it. I was like, hey, look, guys, right now outside it feels like 3. Isn't that fun? Look at there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was with the wind up here by 9 o'clock this morning, the wind chill had dropped to negative 13.
Whoa.
Yeah. And our house turns out being 100 years old is kind of drafty in places.
No.
And so it was, yeah. Megan was like, "Oh, found another one." Like, all right,
get that coal fire back running up in there. That's what he needs.
That's what I'm thinking. I still have some in the basement and pull some up. So, anyway.
Oh, right. I was going to mention this. This is as good a time as any. I had an Aaron moment this week.
A what?
I had an Aaron moment. I was watching television program about the Dead Sea Scrolls. And hold on. Wait for it.
I'm ready.
They were
waiting,
talking about the scrolls and all this stuff and the possible history of where they came from and all this stuff and kind of what it was about. And then they started talking about reasons they could have been stashed about. And yada yada. They come around to this. They're talking about Roman occupation of Palestine at that time, the Middle East, right? And they showed some Roman people on the screen, right? Like Roman soldiers. And I went, what the heck are they wearing? That is not Roman armor.
Oh my gosh. No. Add that to the list of things only you notice.
Yeah, we'll put that on there. Weird, random, not Roman armor. Like they showed a close up of this guy's helmet, and I was like, "What in the world is that nonsense?"
Oh my gosh!
He pulled out what I guess was supposed to be a gladius. It looks sort of like a Bowie knife. I don't really know what was happening. I was like, "What is going on?"
Probably one of those cheap production like History Channel movies.
It wasn't a movie. The rest of the
show.
the clips looked like they came from somewhere else. They were only like, those things that just shows like 2.5 seconds of like a clip.
Yeah.
And that's really it. They just needed something functional to like send Roman messages, right, to your brain. Like, oh, you know about a Roman, right? There's a person in like a little skirt thing, and he has a chest armor, and he has a hat and a sword.
Yeah.
Roman. It's red. Blah. And I looked at that and went, what on earth is that? That is not. It does not look anything remotely Roman. What is this?
That's
The
interesting.
red tunic was about the only accurate part.
Oh, that's bad when you know they got that. When you're like, well, at least they got the color.
The red tunic. Everything else was wrong. And I was like, are you kidding me? Susan was like, what are you talking about? Like, listen.
you don't know. You don't even know.
This is not what Roman soldiers would wear. So I got you, Aaron. I'm looking out.
I appreciate it. There's a YouTube channel that I watch. It's called History Buff, and he takes historical movies.
Is it the animated one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And they talk about the big movies, Braveheart.
I saw that
Gladiator,
one.
things like that. And so like when I watch them now, and I'm like, this movie sucks now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I like watching those little things like that. But like, I think I was trying to watch what was it? I think it was Gladiator that came on the other day, and I was just sitting there watching, and I was like, I mean, like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And my brain would settle for a little bit, and then it'd be like, no, it's fine, it's fine. So it just kept building and building over time.
It's true though. I do the same thing sometimes. You're like, what is that? Come on.
Why are you doing this?
Well, it's also like whenever you read like actual historical stuff about the period of Braveheart, and then you watch it and you're just like, man,
yeah,
Mel Gibson, but I mean, come on, man.
I don't know. That's one part of history that I'm not particularly interested in, so I don't really read anything about that. But like, it's similar for other stuff too. I was watching. Oh, because I watched that Curse of Oak Island show. Every 3 or 4 episodes, they bring up the Templars because that's just what you do, right? When you have shows and you're like, what could it be? Oh, right. Templar conspiracy. And so they will do the obligatory, like, it's like a D shot, basically, of like some people in armor, like riding horses through a field just to be like, oh, Templars, right? As the voiceover plays.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at them going, what are they wearing? What is that?
Why?
I know that's not the point of that particular insert of the show, but
sure.
I'm always like sad. Like, what? What is that? What is that helmet? That is not a period helmet. Get out of here. What is that Bayou Tapestry helmet? You nonsense you got going on here. Get out of here.
You don't even understand.
It's terrible. So I'm like, what is this? Yeah, those are the things. There's one thing I noticed that no one else notices is weird, inaccurate historical clothing.
Hey, but it's important to you.
It's not necessarily important. It's just annoying. Like, why? Come on. This show here clearly had a budget. Doing all this other stuff. Couldn't get like a couple actual chainmail like reproductions. I would settle for a movie chainmail that's not like 80,000 times too big. What's this unfitted male shirt nonsense? Get out of here.
Well, yeah, and that's where you're like, surely, you could have found one in some back spare lot, or bummed it off of some other production going on. But no, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, get your armor in the Bright Century, then we'll talk.
Grr. Feisty over there. Gee, many crickets. What on earth?
I don't know.
Good gravy.
Yes, it's true.
Okay. Well, yeah, I will definitely chalk that up to an Aaron moment.
Yes, I liked it.
Appreciate it.
We also had it was Susan's mom's birthday this week. She's 83 years old.
83? Wow.
Yeah. And so we had dinner over there last what's today? Thursday. Yeah. And not last night. Yeah, I guess it was last night. Anyway, it's been a weird week. We did she did that thing that she does sometimes where she made like the trivia about the year of her birth, and we had all this like crazy like trivia game thing, and
cool.
I won. It was all like that weird stuff like I didn't bring the paper home with me, but like what was the popular singers in that year.
Yeah.
And there was like she had to check off a bunch, and like what were products that were introduced in that year. It's like 1937, right? You're like, I don't know. So you click all those off, and like the last one was the price of stuff, right? That price of a house or a car or eggs or we did it Price is Right style, so it was closest without going over.
Cool. The let's be honest, the only way to do
that. The only way to do it. That's right. Thinking of you, Bob. Right? It was pretty funny. She didn't do very good on those. I'm like, come on, you're supposed to know this. What are you doing? Oh. I think
goodness.
It would have been Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday is when that was. Sorry, got my days mixed up here.
I'll just delete all those hate mail. Don't worry, it's true. Fine. It's fine. I'll shield you from that.
Thanks. For some reason, 4-day weeks at school are like the weirdest. Like I can't ever wrap my brain around short weeks and how they function. And I was like, what day is it? Where are we? What's happening?
Why am I here?
Yeah. What is this? I don't know.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. There's something about 4-day weeks that really messes with me. And my time scale.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, yeah. Well, and I had Wednesday off this week, and so I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, last week was like that too because we had a snow day Wednesday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was really weird. It was like, oh,
I guess okay, this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah. So it's really weird to have Wednesday off and then like go back Thursday, Friday. Be like, what the heck? That was weird. All right, so. That pushed all my stuff back a day that I thought I was gonna have to do, and then this week was short week too. And I was like, but no, I'm not ready. We got to do today. No, like
yes, no. Yeah, I don't. I understand. Yeah, it's days off. Am I right? Ugh.
It's just weird. Like I don't know, because it's such a time thing. Right, like you have to do this in this set amount of time, and when that time gets altered, it's like, what?
Oh, right.
Like, how do I now cope with this new timeline that I've been given? When you would think it's just like, just move it back a day, but sort of things just sort of get compressed, whereas you have to try to like squeeze other things in because you're weird. Can't move everything back indefinitely, right? So,
no, yeah, they don't like it whenever you do that.
No, well, it's just not convenient, right? Sometimes it's like, well, we're just gonna skip this part because,
yep, gotta.
It's hard because we do a lot of like. Recently, we've been doing a lot of like project-based stuff, right? Where it's like a couple weeks ago we did you are making a demonstration for us, right? In class, right? Okay. You have to make an air pressure demonstration, right? You have X days. We're doing that thing in history. we're doing a King Tut thing in history. You have X amount of days.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting a new one in science Tuesday about like severe weather. You have X days, right? So when you miss days in there, it really like throws off the timeline of how
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And because I'm still like, this is the first year teaching 6th grade, I'm still trying to like feel out how long these things should actually be taking. So it's kind of like we work on them for a few days. I see where everyone's at, and I'm like, all right, you got 2 more days. That's kind of where we are. Right? It's not necessarily the best plan, but like we kind of take an average where a lot of people are close to done, and if most people are like about midway, we're like, okay, well, you got X number. There's always like one kid who's like been screwing around, not doing anything, has nothing done. They still have nothing done. That's the annoying bit. Like, come on,
do something.
Yeah, and then of course it's also really hard right now because like 70,000 kids are out of school sick. Right?
Oh gosh, yeah, I bet.
Like the ravaging sickness.
It's
running
been
around, and so like
a lot.
Yeah. And so they're like, well, I was gone. Like, I know, but you still have to do it. I don't know what you want from me.
I know, but
like, they're like, but I get an extra day. I'm like, but here's the problem. This project is taking 5 days. You were gone one of them. We have this handy recess time where you can come in and work on stuff. Not like we're going outside anyway. We're you get to miss indoor recess. No one likes indoor recess. You can miss that. You don't have to wait till the project is over to come in and work on it. If you come in like one day, you're caught back up and you're done. You don't have to worry about it.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Or you're like way closer and you only need like a little bit more time. So I don't feel bad for you, especially when I have other kids that were gone and did that exact thing without me telling them to do it. So
gasp, papa.
I know, right? Like, like they're like, hey, can I just come in at recess and work on this in your room? Like,
no.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
Please do.
Why would I say no to that? Why would I say welcome?
I don't
Here
know.
you are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Tell everyone else how to do this, right?
Please.
That's the other weird thing. Like we miss days and people are gone, and it's just like a circus of like, oh my gosh, where are you? How many days behind are you on this? I have no idea because you've been gone forever.
Well, and that would be really hard too. Of once you start missing so many days like that, like just how do you even get caught up as a student at that point?
Yeah, and it's some of these kids are struggling already, and it's like, okay, well, there's only 3 teachers this year, and we're not exactly like taskmasters, right? It's not like we're not exactly like, yo, you can't do anything that you give it, right? It's very like, you have time to work on it. It's okay. We'll accept it late because we know all this stuff. Well, you start pushing it. You start pushing it, and then like So it's supposed to be like a transition year where it's like, okay, kind of like 5th grade is starting it because they do stuff a little bit differently than the rest of elementary. 6th grade is really a transition year. In 7th grade, it's like, whoop, there you are. 7 classes. Bye. Like full blown middle school land, right? It's like, oh dear. So we talk about that. We talk about like, hey, this is kind of stuff you gotta deal with later, blah blah blah. And some of them are trying. Some of them are like, can't be bothered, right? Because there's like whatever.
Other stuff to do. I think
stuff to do. I have to talk to this person and do strange things. I don't know. The life of a 6th grader is very hard.
This is true. Sure.
I tell him that too. Like, listen, I remember being 6th grade is not fun. I remember not really enjoying it very much.
I know they don't even have Harry Potter to read or any sort of that stuff.
I mean,
coming
they
out,
do.
So. Yeah, but there's not. They're not coming out. They're not contemporaries of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not new. It's still there.
Well, yeah, but
it's not new.
True.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't think of any books like that have come out recently for kids or anybody that people have been that excited over.
I mean, the last big one was the Hunger Games, right? That was kind of like middle schooler targeted.
Yeah. Right. But even that wasn't like, I don't think
it wasn't, even that wasn't the phenomenon.
No.
That was the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
I don't think they were
anything like that.
I don't think they were storming the brick and mortar stores.
That's true. There was no midnight release. Yeah. I don't think there's midnight release for Hunger Games.
I did that. Yeah.
Did you just the one time or did you do it more than that?
I just did it the one time because, and I forget which one that was for, but yeah, I just did that one time because the thing is that you would go to the midnight release and then you'd stay up all night reading it so that the next day you could come to school and have already read the book.
Yeah.
And talk to people about it.
But they hadn't read the book yet.
So. They had not read the book yet. So, but you could lord it over them. It was a status symbol of your nerd of really checking your nerd credentials. Is really what it was.
Lord it over.
Yes.
Yeah. What
and that's how my middle school went.
Oh my goodness! Oh my.
Oh. Yeah, that's probably where we should leave that one anyway.
I think so. I think we'll just.
Okay. Well, you guys have a good night.
You too.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.